And we're live. How cool is that? I am so excited to be doing broadcasts again. So, thank you for joining us for the premiere of Soul to Soul. We are a weekly broadcast for dance teachers and studio owners who have a passion for the art of dance. We're going to be up close and personal with a style that hits at the soul for our art, dance education and living the dance life. It's about the people, the places, the triumphs and the struggles, all of which makes our community so special. In the comments, let us know where you're from. We'd love to know where our viewers are from and what you're thinking. Do that throughout the broadcast. To keep you up to date about Soul to Soul, we'll be on Mondays, 12 noon every week. Next week, we'll have a special guest, Hetty Perna. And we're just calling the show What I Know Now because so many of us know so much more than we did before March 13th. And the week after that, we'll be with Heather Warner. The show is called Attitude of Gratitude, right before Christmas, putting us in the holiday spirit. And Heather has a great personality that will make us all smile. I also want to say thank you to our friends at Dance Magic for sponsoring this broadcast. Your support of our community and the Regold Company means a lot to us, and we're going to talk to you more about Dance the Magic a little later in the program. So, why did I choose Soul to Soul? Because for me, everything about dance comes from the soul. If I don't see the soul involved in the movement, I don't care how good the movement is, I don't feel it. I've always believed that dance is a soul thing. Dance comes from the soul and it moves the audience and it moves the audience soul. So the mover's soul is moving the audience soul to feel an emotion. That's soul to soul. And by the way, the mover does not have to be doing tricks or enormous feats. We can move a soul in the audience by them feeling the emotions of life through our movement. How cool is that? Soul to soul, it is like the feeling of bliss that a dancer experiences, no matter what age or skill level. That's a soul thing. When a child loses themselves in our classroom and is feeling just, I don't know, free and living in the moment, that's a soul thing. The knowledge that dance changes lives. If we have learned anything since March 13th, it is how much our kids need dance, how much they need each other, how much they need the movement, how much they need the community that we've created. That's a soul thing. And utilizing our art to help others. That's a soul thing. That's using your movement to help others, to move others. It's all about the soul. Let's consider that every Monday, we're going to get back to that place. So before we continue, I want to say thank you again to Dance the Magic, the sponsor of today's Soul to Soul. You can join Dance the Magic at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida and dance in a parade down Main Street, USA. How cool is that? The newest destination is Music City Magic in Nashville, Tennessee. It's the ultimate country music experience where your dancers will perform on stage at the Grand Ole Opry. If you're needing something unique and special to do as we come out of this time, go to dancethemagic.com and start planning a magical experience.
Hi, my name is Julie K. Stallcup, and I own Revolution Dance Center. We have been a part of Dance the Magic for years, and the reason that we love this team so much is because of the quality that they bring to their product. My dancers absolutely love stepping out on that street and performing. The staff is fantastic. I can't say enough about how amazing this team is.
Awesome. Welcome back. Thank you again, Dance the Magic. And I'm going to say thank you, Debbie Barr, because I know you're the decision maker, and I can't tell you how much we enjoy being partners with you in this dance community. So this show is called Optimism in Times of Change. Nothing really has affected our industry like this pandemic, or affected the world, I guess. I can't just feel like it's us, the dance industry. But 9 months ago, everything changed. We've closed, we've opened. Some of us had to close down again and maybe open again, and there may be more closures. Not easy. For a field that's been running on a certain schedule, having our graphs and everything organized, this is a time that's very difficult because we can't predict where we'll be in a week. But there is optimism in times of change. Our field has been running on a schedule. Now we get to be creative and create new things. And listen, some people say, why can't I just put on my recital like I used to? I'm gonna say my thought is we can continue to put on a recital. Maybe it'll end up being better than ever because we had to think out of the box, because we weren't allowed to do it the way we got used to doing it. And we'll talk more about those options as we move on. We've expanded our horizons as mentor, leader, and teacher by coming to realize that our schools are communities that need us to lead with authenticity and confidence. That's optimistic. And what do I mean by that? I think that all of the members of IDEA and the people that I've talked to, they're like leading like they've never led before. They're leading their employees in as positive a way as they can, and the parents and the kids in their studios are looking to them as, wow, she keeps on going, or they keep on going. They're setting an example for the rest of the world. That is optimism. You are a leader like you have never been before. And that will serve you well as we move on. Another thing to be optimistic about at this time is we've seen the dance community come together like never before. Teacher helping teacher, studio owner helping studio owner. And often those studios are in the same town. They're studio owners that, I'm not going to say disliked each other before, but stayed away from each other before. There's studio owners who maybe considered that studio up the street to be their competition. Now those same studio owners are coming together, seeing if they can't rent the same facility to put on a recital, or talking to each other about how they did their outdoor show, or just getting together on Zoom calls to strategize business for the future. And yes, they're in the same community. How cool is that? That makes me optimistic. So I am going to continue this topic with a special guest. Most of our viewers will know him. He's a friend of mine for a long, long time, and I am just thrilled that he's our first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Gio Hubella. Hey, buddy.
Jeffrey, how are you? How are you? And I want to say thank you for.
I got to put on my headset for this, my friend.
Okay. What's up? How are you?
I am excellent, and I am thrilled to have you be here on this first show, and I'm going to tell you why. As long as I've known you, I feel like everything you do is about the soul. I feel like you care when you teach. You're willing to teach people who have no hip hop experience and make them have joy throughout the class. And I just love your passion for our art and teaching. So welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you so much. And thank you for, I'm honored to be the first guest for Soul to Soul. I hope this series is like amazing for you, but more so for the teachers and the studio owners and the people that are tuning in, and that it provides optimism for them and different perspectives. Like I said, we've done more of this through the pandemic, has come together and talk and listen to each other. And it helps all of us, whether we're speaking or we're listening, it helps all of us get through this time. And so I appreciate it. I'm really honored to be here. And hello to everyone that's out there tuning in. Thanks for being with us this afternoon or morning on the West Coast.
We're doing it at noon so we can hit everybody across this great country we live in. So, Gio, I know that you came today with a quote about optimism. Will you share that?
Yes, I'm going to kick it off with my quote here. My quote is, it's not my quote, but it's a quote that I looked up. And I looked up, I read through so many quotes over the last few days. And this one kind of stuck with me, and I kept going back to it because I think a lot of us will connect with this quote in this time. And it is, sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but you've actually been planted. So that's the one that the quote that really stuck with me. It was, at first it was like, oh, that's heavy, a little deep and dark, you know, like to be buried, you know, that feeling of claustrophobia and no escape and darkness, just pure darkness. And when you read the end of it, it's like where you've been planted, it's like, whoa. That's
new beginning, rebirth,
new beginning. It's like, you know, saying our soul is, you know, when we pass away, our soul is, our body is buried, but our soul is reborn to a new being or a new person or whatever it is you believe. So this quote really kind of stuck with me, and I'm trying to use it to help myself right now. So that's my quote.
I love your quote. And I want to ask you, what has kept you optimistic? I know that you were closed, weren't sure if you were going to be able to even continue with Icon, the studio. How are you managing to stay optimistic?
The first way I stay optimistic is knowing that I'm not alone. And I think all of us have connected with that feeling, is that, you know, you could feel sorry for yourself and be like, oh, me, this, and my studio, and my family, and my bills, and my this. And it's like, whoa, hold, you know, everyone is going through something right now. And when you know that you're not alone, I think that provides some comfort. And I think that has helped a lot of people, because you get lost in yourself for the moment, and you say all these things, and then you realize that, whoa, there's people that have it worse, and maybe my situation isn't that bad. And so I think that's a huge part of my optimism right now, is that I'm not alone. I need to know I'm not alone, and that we're all going to get through this together.
And what change have you had to accept that's been a little bit tough, my friend?
Change in my lifestyle, my passion. I was always on the go. I was always traveling, and that's a love-hate relationship, because you're so busy, and you're so you want to spend more time with your family and your kids, and more time for yourself. But at the same time, how much I miss being on stage at a convention and teaching hundreds of kids or hundreds of teachers, or the adrenaline of getting on that plane on the weekend and saying, oh, I'm so lucky I get to do what I love. So I miss that. I've had to adjust to not having that regular experience of teaching. And I've gotten back to it at the studio, but for me, when I opened the studio, I always knew the studio wasn't enough for me, that I needed a balance. I needed to still dabble in the industry, do a movie here or a commercial here if I had the opportunity, to go to an audition, and also teach and travel. And those are huge parts of my life. They've always been for 30 years now. 30 years, I can't believe it. So after 30 years of doing that, for it to suddenly change and just be planted home, it's tough for me. I struggle with, am I bored? What do I've never had time. So that was an adjustment dealing with that.
So let me follow up with that, though. What are you doing on your weekends that you've never had the chance to do because you've been traveling 30 years?
Actually, try and sit down and watch a football game, because I enjoy watching football on Sunday. It's just one of my favorite things to do. But the channel always gets changed to Nickelodeon and goes to Bubble Guppies, and so it doesn't really last long. So, but it's I'm most grateful for this time, because I'm really getting to spend more time with my two boys. That are Cruz just turned 2 the other day, and Gio's 3, and I get to sit and watch them watch cartoons for a minute, and then want to play and read a book with me, and play cars. And so, I mean, everyone that's a parent out there knows that there's you don't get this time back, and someone has given it to me. Someone's given me this time, which I would have normally not have gotten. So I'm very thankful for that.
Okay, I wanted to pull that out of you. I'm getting a little feedback on this. I wanted to pull that out of you because I know that everybody listening has had to make major shifts. I feel like we also need to recognize, even if we miss something that we were doing, what if we replaced it with that's really cool that we never would have had the chance to do? And I knew you were going to say your kids. Mm-hmm. Imagine if these last 8 months you were traveling, what might you have missed?
Oh, I would have missed tons of walk through Monmouth Battleground Park, which was right next door to us, that we've never discovered. That just quality time together. That's what we would have missed. So I can't be mad at that at all.
Nah. So tell me about teaching in the studio. How are you moving forward? I know you have a less enrollment than is something you're used to, but I see you continuing on teaching every day. Are you optimistic about the classes and the future of Icon?
I'm optimistic, and I know we've all struggled with this in a huge way. I'm about half of the kids that I normally have. I think for the most part, we understand that our rec programs have disappeared. Some, then you have the people that are like, yeah, no, I'm bigger than I was, and blah, blah, blah. But I think we know we've really held on to the kids that are like we want to call them the company kids or the team kids. And those are the kids that are here with us mostly at this time. And they love being in here and training. They've expressed to me that they're just happy to be just training and in and doing different routines every week. And I'm not going too crazy with focusing on strength and technique. And it's just my feeling right now is just give them an activity, give them something they enjoy and love, because they're struggling as much as we are, because their social lives and their school and we have to stop and pause and say, you know, they're not okay. We can't just assume they're okay. They're struggling like we all are. And so I just want to be that outlet for them. I tell them, you know, I had a girl in class the other day that, you know, she was doing the routine and she made a mistake, and we went to the side, and I looked, and a lot of the girls were standing there, and I said, "Are you okay?" And she literally just broke down in tears, you know. And I was like, "I'm really happy you're crying." And she kind of looked at me, and I'm like, "You're just allowing yourself to express yourself right now. You're not holding it in. You're upset that you made a mistake, which means that you care about what you just did on the dance floor, and it's important to you. So now I'm going to tell you that this needs to be your happy place. This studio needs to be a place that you come and that you don't stress, but I want you to care. So go ahead and cry all you want. And I'm going to give you that 6-foot hug." And, you know, it's like these little things that I'm experiencing now and seeing these kids and what they're going through. It takes away from my worries, and it makes me focus on them, which is what our role is. We're teachers. This is our job. And that experience, obviously, I just thought of it, and because it's staying with me, it affects me, and that's my job. I'm not talking about the choreo on the dance floor. I'm talking about the way this young 11-year-old girl felt about what she was doing in this room, and how much she cared about it, and how important it was that I told her that I was proud of her, that I was there for her, and that this needs to be a place that she feels safe in. And we all need to realize that we have very important roles. And, you know, in whatever capacity our studios are open, it means a lot to even 5 kids or, you know, 500 kids, whoever's there. It's important to those kids that are in there right now. It's really, really important.
That's a soul thing you experienced with that girl.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gio, tell our viewers about it being okay to let the technical side go and the ability to better just communicate and feel what our dancers are feeling, and that it's not about going back to the norm and doing the same thing we've always done in dance class. Tell us about how it's changed.
It's exactly what I just said. You know, you're realizing more and more that for these kids that come to our studios every day, it's something they love. It's a place that they want to feel safe in. Their parents obviously feel safe knowing they're not on the street or doing something else, that they're doing something constructive. It's healthy for them. They're being active. And we were caught up, and this, for me, it's not anything new, because I've heard you for, I don't know if it's 10 or 12 years of being at conferences say, you know, not every dancer is going to be that professional dancer. Not every dancer is, you know, cares how high they kick their leg. They're there because they just love it. And it's, we lose focus. We lose sight of that. We lose focus of that when we're so focused on our choreo or preparing for a competition or getting that solo ready. I'm really focused on building confidence. Like, that's the biggest reward, building these kids' confidence, so that they can handle this time like we are now. So when they become my age and they're in a responsible role where they have to mentor people and their own families, like, are they going to be able to handle that situation? Because it's going to happen to them. They're going to experience things in their lives that they're going to have to be in control of and make people feel a certain way. And the way I train these kids now, they're going to hopefully remember that, and they'll stick with them and say, well, that's the way I was taught. I know how to handle this situation. And that's what we are. We're mentors, we're teachers, and everything we do and everything we say sticks with them. It really, really does. So we have to be conscious and aware of how we treat these kids and how we speak to them, because it's important. We have a really important job. Teachers are super, super important. All teachers.
I agree 100%. And could this be a time that we could look at very optimistically, because we can make change like never before when it comes to what we're doing in our classrooms and the philosophies and the expectations of our kids? Could it be that at this time we actually can pull apart our programs, our classrooms, and make a better decision as far as what good education is about? Like, I look at this as a reawakening of the possibilities of things that we could be doing in our classrooms. What's your thought on that, Gio?
We have to remember that, like, this is why this quote is important. It's about being, you're planted. Like, this is a new start. We all say, I can't wait till things go back to normal. Do you really want things to go back to normal? Do you remember normal? And were you completely, if you were 110% completely happy with that normal, then okay, then you could say that. But I don't often say, I can't wait till things go back to normal. I'm ready for my new start. That's what I say.
Yes. Because you know that in March, when this hit, we were all running around, just like you described in the beginning. You were going every weekend. I was going every weekend. People were at their dance competitions when this thing hit. And all of a sudden, we had a whole new way of living that we had to adjust to. And I think there has been a lot of positive that has come out of that. If you want to see it, if you want to accept that we're not necessarily going back to the way it was.
Yeah, we can't. I feel like we can't. I feel like we have to really be conscious of that and be aware of it and make sure you don't, because then you're going to think about where you were. This is what I would love everyone to do, is just really think about where you were. Write down or find the positives in where you were, find the negatives, and then make sure you don't go back to those negatives. Because I think people have I heard this on the radio the other day, and it wasn't about dance teachers, but it was about teachers. And the speakers were saying, people are now starting to realize how important a school teacher is because they're doing this remote learning in their home and they're, doing this stuff, and they're like, whoa, they're undervalued, they're underpaid, and I feel like dance teachers are the same thing. Like you're giving kids skills and you're passing on these really important lessons to them. And it's, I feel like now, like, parents really, they appreciate that more, because it's like, I get these notes and it's these DMs on Instagram. Thank you for just giving my child somewhere to have an outlet right now. Thank you so much. Like, not, oh, that was a great routine you did today, or when do we go on to this, rehearsal or competition or what? Like, it's just all about thank you. Thank you for giving my kids an outlet with something they love, because they truly love it. So, I want to make sure I don't fall back into the trap of going back to the things that made me unhappy or I didn't really love. And I think a lot of us are going to, and be like, but now's the time to prepare. Be optimistic that keep those all the positives that we have during this pandemic, keep them with you, keep them with you.
And be optimistic about how exciting it is to see parents that are calling you up and saying, thanks, you're making a difference, rather than how many competitions are we going to do this year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so like the opposite extreme now, I think. And it's, again, everyone's in this. That's what I said. We're not alone. Everyone is feeling something on a certain level, and we have more. I feel like we all have more understanding. Like it's like, well, I really want you to take. You really need to take 8 classes because I need you to be strong in this and this and this and this. And the kid's going, okay, but maybe that dad is out of work and that dad can't afford those 8 classes. It's not that the kid can't afford the 8 classes. Maybe they just can't. So like if that's understanding. That's like seeing. You have to see around. We get caught in this tunnel, and it's like everybody's going through something right now, and I think we need to carry that attitude into regular life, because during regular times, maybe someone's going through something that we don't know about, and we need to be understanding of that. So, perfect example is this, and it hit me the other night. I had to go into New York City the other night for a rehearsal, and I got to New York City in, I think, an hour. Normally it would have taken, on a Friday evening, normally that job could have taken me 2.5 to 3 hours with traffic. And I was walking through the street to go to the studio, and I said, when this goes back to normal, I am not going to want to come into the city because I don't want to deal with that traffic. So I'm really enjoying this moment right now. I'm really enjoying it because I was only in my car for a good hour and not 3. And I don't have the stress of traffic and making it on time. And it was very relaxing. And it's like, that's during the pandemic. It's like, that's like, I found a moment of happiness and being settled in this moment in this crazy time. And it's like, so they exist. They're there for us. We just have to find them.
Yes, I agree. I think I wake up sometimes and notice the sunshine that I never noticed before, a beautiful sky at the end of the day that I would have never had time. I am grateful for the slowdown.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and of course, there's good and bad. We have the stress and the bills and the uncertainty, but it's what we said for a month ago. Day by day, take it day by day.
Yes, and all those good things that I just said. I think myself and the whole rest of the world are basically financially broke, but we're okay, and we're being creative and figuring out what's going to work. And I'll add to this. I think we're being so creative that when we get back to what the new norm is, we're going to be able to be more successful because we have all these ideas and things that we were forced to do. Mm-hmm. And we'll be able to use them on the other side of this as our schools grow back.
Absolutely. And they will come back. They will. And it's the time will come. We just can't worry about when. I think we just have to focus on today. Because if you don't, it's going to drive you crazy. And be excited about what's to come. Be excited for that future and everything that you want to do. But enjoy today. That's it. We're always ahead of ourselves. We're always thinking into the future. And I think, again, slow down. We've said this over and over. It's good for us right now. So I'm trying to really focus on that and take everything day to day, for sure.
Awesome, my friend. I'm going to take us to a new place. As our listeners know, we lost a really awesome dance friend last week or the week before. His name is Greg Russell. I look at him as the teacher's teacher, somebody who grew up in our field. His mom was a dance teacher. He understood it. He understood the teachers. He understood the kids. And he brought everything he had with him to every city that he ever went to. And Gio, you want to spend some time talking about our friend Greg Russell?
I would love to. And I want to start by saying this. When we talk about Greg, or I've looked at things on social media and tributes to him, and I would be, if I could think of someone that I would want to be remembered in the way that someone is remembered, it would be like Greg. Everyone talks about his smile. Everyone talks about the joy he brought. Everyone talks about how great a person he was. The great dancer is a given, but it's in everything I've seen, it's never been the focus. It's how Greg is. I've seen students, how Greg has taught me. He was my mentor. He was my inspiration. I mean, if you're remembered for those things, then you've done your job on this earth, you know? And that's Greg's legacy. Is like, that's what I want to be. Those are the things that I would love to be remembered for, not for that great routine or that award or that, you know, or that TV show, or like, it's like everything about Greg is about the person he was. And that's so telling. It's so telling. Greg was a colleague, a friend. I'm not going to sit here and say me and Greg were the best of friends and we spoke every day. I'm not, you know, no, like there's so many people in this industry that I feel the same way about as I do about Greg. And that's why our industry is so special. And it's because it comes from the soul. I don't remember the steps I did with Greg on jobs or the experiences. I remember our talks. I remember our sitting down, sipping on a beer, laughing.
Right.
Those are the moments I remember about Greg. And I mean, I think that's what I think it's amazing that he did what he did on this earth. And he's so missed because of that.
Let's take a look at some pictures of Greg in action. I love this picture. I don't know who took it, but I've seen it all over social media. And I just was like, look at this man, the tap dancer with the ballet technique and just kicking it, buddy. How cool is that? Isn't that a great shot?
It is. It's amazing. You know, it's like floating. It's like he's carefree. You know, that was his personality. He's just he always greeted you with a smile forever, you know?
I love the carefree. That was a good word for him. Here he is at the conference, just kind of giving himself and his passion to the people. I think this is a performance, actually, where he was tapping and talking to the audience. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the next picture. This is like I remember the guy. Okay, big smile. So, Gio, I came upon this picture. Tell us a little bit. That's you on the left. You look exactly the same. However, I know that's Greg on the right. Yes?
Yeah, this was a really huge Sprite campaign that we were both filming in LA back in our performance days. And we're dressed this way because we were Gen Xers. So we were the Gen X group in this Sprite commercial. And, you know, there was so many experiences with Greg. And it's like, when I came upon this photo too, it's like, I thought about it. I had to go into my basement and get this out of a photo album. But I remembered the photo. I was like, I have this great photo with Greg. And, you know, it's like the backstage stuff. You know, I remember everything that happened here by the trailers and the people we were with and the laughs and the jokes, and not necessarily what we were filming as far as dance. So
how old were you guys here?
I say we were probably around 25, 26 years old. So this is a good, you know, it's a good 20 years ago about. So it's crazy to think it's that long ago. But we did some really great projects together. We did Foley work together, because for movies, if you know what Foley work is, for sounds for movies. And Greg was a great hip hop dancer too. You know, ballet, hip hop. He was a great hip hop dancer. He was a funky little white boy. He was awesome. He could do it all. You know, he was multi-talented, but such a great person. and then to hear, this was at the conference. You always ask me to do a little performance, and I freak out and I get very nervous. And I know Greg was there, and we were spending a lot of time together, and then also Ryan Lohoff, who's a really close friend of Greg and partner in so many things. Another amazing guy. And I said, I want to surprise Ree, and I want to do something different. And someone
I remember the surprise.
told me, Ree, don't be careful. Ree doesn't really like surprises, so
but I like you, so you got away with it that day.
I got away with it. But I'm so thankful for that surprise because it created this memory, and I'd love to see this footage. I don't have this footage of this performance, but Greg and Ryan were in the audience, and I mean, we planned it so that he would just jump on stage with me, and we did a jam together, and it was it's one of the last times we performed together, and what an amazing memory. And I'm so thankful for this memory and the time we spent at the conference together for those days. And just an amazing guy, and truly missed for sure.
Next slide. So I had to put in a few of these because this is my thought on Greg. I think he was pursuing a family and settling down, and that it was something he had as a desire for a long time, and he finally found it. And so for me, I was so happy for him. And when I'd see a picture of him with his daughter and his wife, I'd be like, wow, look at this. This guy found exactly what he wanted. So I want to show everybody some of these pictures. This is Greg it's Lucy Claire.
Lucy, yeah.
And show a couple of, this is Lucy Claire joining him at Artists Simply Human dance convention. Hold that one for a second. Actually, the one you brought up. His wife, Tessa, his daughter, Greg, and this is the ultimate happiness, I believe, that Greg was looking for. What do you think?
I 1,000,000% agree. And we both, I have text messages here. I pulled up the conversation with Greg that Greg had this knack for always texting me on my birthday, which I have much closer friends that, wouldn't text me on my birthday. That's why I say, but Greg just had this, it was something that he always did, was he always text me on my birthday. And when I started building a family, he reached out to me regarding building a family and said I can't wait to see more photos of that. And, when he opened the studio, and it was about, I think that settled feeling is that we both had talked about what the ultimate goal was. And it was building that foundation and that home and that family and that business at home, a place that you could call home instead of traveling to all these other dance studios. And that was a big part of our exchange as friends, was building that stability and that home, that heart. And it is definitely his greatest accomplishment, was his family, his child. And I think that's what hits home for so many people. I think that's why we're so upset at the loss. One thing is that tomorrow is not promised. It's hard.
Soul to soul, buddy. Take your time.
It's hard as a dad to see him with his daughter, because I think I promise myself I won't do this. But that's it. It's like related to Kobe Bryant. We watched Kobe Bryant pass, right? And he was this athlete. And it's like, I think more people were so affected by the fact that he passed away with his daughter, number one, and then his wife and family, like it was more about that and not about the buckets, you know. That legacy of what Kobe Bryant built, of what Greg Russell built. I mean, that's what what our goal is. That's what we're all working towards are those things, not the greatest routine, not the greatest studio, not the greatest trophy. You could see it, and when he's laying there with his daughter and his eyes are closed, there's just a peace and a calm in that photo that I get to experience every day when I hug my kids, and it's so powerful, so powerful.
Greg was powerful, and I'm so glad we had the opportunity to talk about him today. I feel like our community has shown how much we appreciate each other, and Greg has made us actually stop and think. I can't explain why his passing hit me harder than anybody who's passed in the last couple of years in my life, just because it's reaching that final pinnacle of happiness, or what I perceived in talking to him, and then it just ending. But I guess in my mind, he knows he reached it, and now he gets to look down and see his daughter and watch what he planted on this earth spread.
Yeah, his daughter is so, I think it's so amazing that his daughter will have these amazing memories of her dad, that the amount of people that he touched, it's like, if you could leave that legacy to your children, that's an amazing thing, because she's going to know how important he was, and but not in a dance way, in a person way, and the life he touched. And that's all the compassion that we feel. We feel the compassion for her, and we feel the compassion for his wife and his family. And that's what's hard about it. It's like you feel for them, and we feel for each other, and we realize that we take a lot of things for granted, and that tomorrow's not promised to us, and that we have to take every day at a time, one day at a time, and appreciate what we have, and be optimistic that tomorrow will come and we'll get through it. And that sometimes the things we think that are so important are not, and that they're sometimes right in front of your face.
Yes. So some closing words from you, my friend, on optimism in times of change.
I think I just said it.
You did.
Take everything day to day. Hug the ones you love a little tighter every day. Tell them you love them. Tell your students you love them. I've been doing that more. I've been like, look around the room. We used to come together in the middle of the room and I never did hands because of germs. So I would say do fists, and I've done that for 15 years. And we do be iconic. We always say that, and we do it from a distance now. I say be iconic, and I say I love you all before they go. And I've been saying that more and more, so that's the last thing that leaves them, that they hear from me when they leave. And if it's the last time they hear it from me, they know those were the words that I said, and they'll remember that. So remember everything that you say to everyone, or every action or every word, because they stick with people. And Greg did that. He left great words and great vibes and great smiles, and everyone remembers that smile most of all. So we have to leave that legacy as well.
I'm with you, my friend. So could it be, listeners, that maybe in a few years, when we're living the new normal, that we'll actually look back at these times and actually have some nostalgia for the opportunities that this time has given us, when we get back into that rat race, will we look and go, oh, I have actually experienced the non-rat race, and I'm going to channel that into my life in the future because I'm not getting back into that place again. I'm going to enjoy the journey more. I'm going to wake up every day and be more optimistic. I'm going to wake up every day and just look around and be grateful that I'm alive. How cool is that? Because in the time we're living in right now, every day people are losing members of their family. Can't we just wake up every day and be grateful that we're not one of those people who have lost somebody or ourselves been sick? Can't that be enough right now? I think it can. I think it can. Gio, my friend, you are a shining star, and you are the mentor, leader, teacher that you strive to be. I want you to know that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone that's listening in, and knowing that we're in this together. I can't wait till we're together again at conferences and at competitions and everything that we really love. We know it's hard work, but we truly love everything that we do, and that's why we do it. And I really appreciate everyone out there, and I wish I could tell everyone that on the daily, so that we don't have to wait till they're gone. So for those of you that are listening and that I know and that I don't know, or if we've crossed paths, or we've shook hands, or we've hugged, that appreciate you, and I wish everyone the best out there. And we're gonna get through this, and we've gotta have faith.
We are gonna get through it. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to our first Soul to Soul broadcast. Next week, we'll be back with Hetty Perna, 12 p.m. or 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And the week after that, on 12/21, Heather Warner. We are going to keep our Soul to Soul talks going, and we're going to bring our community together in a very, how do I want to say this, authentic way, because that's what our art is all about. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gio.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you.